even if, Donald Trump really thought that crypto is a really important industry that America should dominate in, the government should stay out of it. The government is not there to pick winners and losers. If Donald Trump wanted to pick winners and losers, he should have stayed in the private sector and done it with his own money. The government is not there to do this. That's central government planning. That's what the communists do. If it's a free market, and if Trump wants to be a free market president, he stays neutral. He doesn't try to decide, hey, crypto is the industry, and so we're going to subsidize it. We're going to use taxpayer money to buy these tokens, and not even the entire industry. Not only is he picking crypto as an industry, he's picking the individual tokens that he thinks are the ones that we need to have, which, Trump should not be doing this. In reality, the country that is the winner in crypto is the one that wastes the least amount of money on it, which is probably going to be China, right? Because this is a complete waste of time. This is a waste of resources. I'm going to get into our horrific trade deficit later, but our trade deficit is going to keep getting bigger if we waste our money on crypto. So the president is wrong. This is not an industry we want to dominate. It's a digital pyramid scheme. Why the hell would we want to dominate that? But, in a free market, you make mistakes, but the government is not supposed to be making those mistakes. Let the market do it. But now let me get back to this particular post. So nowhere in this post does he say anything has been decided. He refers to his executive order on digital assets. Yes, what did that order do? It directed the working group to study the potential of a crypto stockpile. That's it. He is referring to that group that is still studying the potential. They haven't determined anything. And of course, even if this group, which hasn't even come out with a finding yet, even if this working group were to recommend to the president that we have a strategic reserve of crypto, they got to sell it to Congress. The president just can't establish it on his own. They have to spend government money. They need a program. Congress has to enact it. Yes, we authorize the spending of public money, to buy these tokens, right? So even if they had done that, but he didn't say that. This is all BS. Now, I don't even think Trump wrote this. Do you think Trump knows that Cardano is ADA? I don't look it up. I didn't know that. I knew Solana and Ripple. I forgot what ADA. Do you think Donald Trump knows ADA? No, he did not compose this post. Somebody wrote it. Now, the person who wrote it may have been the one that posted it. Now, maybe Trump, copied it. Somebody said, here, Mr. President, post this. But I doubt that even happened. I'm sure that there are some other people that Trump has given access to his account, and they made that post, but only after they had loaded up on those specific tokens. Now, the interesting thing about that post is that it didn't even mention Bitcoin, right? So people are like, hey, we got a Bitcoin strategic reserve, and the post didn't even mention Bitcoin. So what happened was, I'm sure this went around like, oh my God, wait, is not even going to be any Bitcoin in the reserve? And so later on, maybe like an hour, I forget, an hour went by at least. And then Donald Trump makes another post, or whoever is posting on behalf of Donald Trump, and posts this. And obviously, BTC and ETH, as other valuable cryptocurrencies, will be at the heart of the reserve. I also love Bitcoin and Ethereum. And again, I don't think Trump wrote this. I think, it was written for him, but it was damage control because they left out BTC and ETH from the original post, because that's not the one that everybody was going to dump, because they loaded up on the other coins because they can make more money. Those things are up 30%, more than twice the rally in Bitcoin. But they had to go back and fix it.
A provocative statement from renowned financial commentator Peter Schiff has caught the market's attention. Schiff has returned to call out Michael Saylor and give him his final warning about Bitcoin and the government involvement. But what exactly led to this commentary, and how does it shift the ongoing narrative? Let's delve deeper into the unfolding drama. Welcome back to Investocracy Crypto.
I think the whole idea of having a reserve of all these currencies, because he didn't just say Bitcoin and Ether, other valuable cryptocurrencies. What are those? Like, how many are going to be in there, right? It's going to be like a reserve of all sorts of tokens that they're just going to pick, right? And they're going to load up this reserve. Anyway, I got another couple of thoughts on this topic, and then I'm going to move on. But we got a quick commercial break, so stick around. We'll be right back. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Stash. Are you still putting off saving and investing because you'll get to it someday? Stash turns someday into today. With Stash, there's no more confusing, frustrating gatekeeping to keep you from investing. Saving and investing can feel impossible. But with Stash, it's not just a reality, it's easy. Stash is an investment app that allows you to automate your investing and implement strategies to help you reach your financial goals faster. You can personalize your investment portfolio based on your unique goals and investment philosophy. Stash has enabled millions of Americans to reach their financial goals and starts at just $3 per month. Don't let your savings sit around. Make it work harder for you. Go to getstash.com/gold to see how you can receive $25 towards your first stock purchase and to view important disclosures. That's getstash.com/gold. Paid non-client endorsement. Not representative of all clients and not a guarantee. Investment advisory services offered by Stash Investments LLC, an SEC registered advisor. Investing involves risks. Offer is subject to terms and conditions. Investment advisory services offered by Stash Investments LLC have not been vetted or endorsed by me or Euro Pacific Asset Management. All right, so I'm talking about the pump and dump going on in crypto tonight. And, there is a area here where the Bitcoin maxis and I have some common ground, although it's not quite as much common ground as they're claiming as a result of a post that I made earlier on X that is got like 2 million impressions now, over 23,000 likes, 5,700 comments, right? I'm getting a lot of Bitcoin guys agreeing with me now. But this also shows you how ridiculous this whole, reserve is, stockpile that they're posting about.
The financial landscape has long been a battleground where Bitcoin and gold stand as gladiators, each vying for the title of ultimate store of value. Schiff, ever the gold champion, has now thrown a fresh salvo into the argument, suggesting that those comparing Bitcoin's performance in dollar terms have been misled. Instead, he advises, look at Bitcoin in terms of how many ounces of gold it can purchase. Back in Bitcoin's heyday of 2021, one Bitcoin could bag 36.3 ounces of gold. Fast forward to the present, and that same Bitcoin secures merely 27.7 ounces, an eye-catching decline of 24%.
When it comes to Bitcoin, right, I get the rationale for a strategic reserve. I don't agree with it, right? This is what a lot of the Bitcoin guys are misrepresenting. Just because I understand the argument that somebody is making doesn't mean I agree with that argument. So the argument for a Bitcoin strategic reserve is pretty simple. We have a gold reserve, right? Who knows how much gold is there? We're going to find out. We're going to Fort Knox, but we have a gold reserve. Other countries have gold reserves. Bitcoin is digital gold. Now, I don't think it's digital gold, but a lot of people do. That's the whole, that's the marketing gimmick. It's digital gold, right? So Bitcoin is digital gold, but it's actually better than gold because gold is analog, right? Bitcoin is a much better version of gold than, old school analog gold. And we have a reserve of that analog gold. So why not have a reserve of digital gold too, right? Because it's better. So that's the argument, right? I don't buy the argument. It's BS, but at least it makes sense, right? Because if Bitcoin is digital gold, then why not have a reserve of it, right? Okay, I get that. I disagree with it, but I get it. Okay. But what is the argument for a Ripple reserve or a Solana reserve or any of these other Cadero, or any of these other cryptos that they want to put in there. And if you can say, well, we should have a reserve with Solana or Cadero, well, why not Dogecoin? Why not throw it in on there? What about Fartcoin? Why isn't that going to be part of the reserve? Or Trump coin? It makes no sense. What is the argument? Now, you can argue, well, Ripple is a really valuable token. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But so what? Why should the government stockpile it? Why do we need a reserve of Bitcoin, of Ripple, just because it's a valuable token?
Turning his attention to proponents like Michael Saylor, Schiff posits that despite Bitcoin's billing as a hedge against inflation and its financial technology promise, its long-term viability remains unstable, a narrative much like watching a high-tension Wall Street thriller with uncertain twists. But before going any further, if you made it this far into the video, thank you. These videos take a lot of effort and time to make, so if you enjoyed them, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This goes a long way in helping us grow. That said, back to the video.
I mean, think of all the valuable assets that are out there that we don't have a reserve of. I mean, all we have a gold reserve and like an oil reserve. That's it. I mean, we don't have a wheat reserve or corn or soybeans. We don't have a copper reserve. We don't have a reserve of stocks. I mean, everybody thinks that NVIDIA is like, you got to own NVIDIA. Well, why don't we have a stockpile of NVIDIA? Why doesn't the government buy stock in NVIDIA? Why doesn't it buy Apple? Why doesn't it buy the entire Magnificent Seven, right? Aren't they valuable? Shouldn't we have a reserve of that, right? You can't make an argument for a reserve of any of these other tokens. So the only rationale for saying or teasing that there's going to be a reserve of these currencies is to enrich the people who already own them. It's obvious. This has got nothing to do with what's good for the country. This is all a money grab. This is Donald Trump or whoever is operating his social media account, basically spreading a lot of money around his donors and family members and helping them get rich, off of these tokens.
In this dynamic dance between Bitcoin and gold, Schiff's argument beckons investors to consider the implications of his evaluation. Whether one sways towards the historic reliability of gold or the potential latent venture of Bitcoin, the current landscape offers no shortage of intrigue. But what do you think? Share your thoughts. And finally, if you would like to know more about cryptocurrencies or specifically Bitcoin, go ahead and click on the next video on your screen. See you there.